Okay. I'm glad we came out in the garden because in the garden you can see various rose bushes which are memorials to our patients. Our roses actually tell a lot about our philosophy of hospice care, which is to celebrate every day that somebody has till the end. We're not here to make life longer. We're not here to make life shorter. We're here to make what life people have better and to make that day, each day, as special as possible. Some extraordinary things have happened in this garden. Some extraordinary things have happened to our hospice patients as a result of providing adequate comfort. Many of our patients have been able to resume daily tasks. In fact, this garden was started by one of our patients. And various patients have worked in various parts of this garden when they have had a frisky enough day to feel like they could bend over. Any number of our patients have been able to go home and visit with family for a weekend. We've celebrated birthdays and anniversaries, had beautiful cakes and candlelit dinners and big parties with streamers and banners and all the family around. Well, that happens probably almost as often as once a month as our patients find themselves capable of enjoying themselves. That's quite a gift at the end of life, and for us, they're a gift to us. Our patients really probably always give us more than we can ever receive or we can ever give to them. It is the strength of their human courage that is so exciting. Sometimes that courage is to do things that you might think were just pretty everyday. One of our patients felt so well, he asked if he could have a prescription for Viagra. One of our patients asked if he was strapped in pretty well, could he go hunting at the weekend? And indeed he did. And they took him up in western Maryland, and he got out his bow and arrow, and he was able to go hunting. So you'll be surprised what people think is the most exciting thing that they could do or what they'd like to have the energy to do. Many of our patients, in fact I'd say sometimes a majority of our patients, like to have the energy to smoke. Just to come outside and sit outside and enjoy a cigarette is a tremendous pleasure for them. It's not going to change their lives, but it adds a little bit of something special to a day. For many of our patients, it's what they see on their tray. We cook home-cooked meals. Our food service manager is a certified pastry chef. His desserts are very beautiful. Often your appetite ebbs considerably when you're dying. You don't have the kind of energy to digest food, and you don't have the need for the food that you once had. But very few of our patients let a tray come back down without tasting their dessert. So it's really nice to have a very beautiful dessert to put before them each and every day. And they get excited by that. They get excited about having choices, what color their pillowcase might be, or what they might eat for a particular meal or for something special. We try to look at every element of comfort and to make sure that comfort comes in what they eat, in how they're touched, in the medicines they receive, in the care that they receive. Our patients are turned, some of them every 15 minutes, to keep them from getting bed sores, to keep them really comfortable. Many of our patients come to us with bed sores and problems that they've encountered where the care is less optimal. But here they often get better because we're so careful in terms of making sure that the sore is carefully treated. Many people say to people working in hospice care, "Oh, I couldn't do that. That's grim. That's really ugly. I mean, that's a hard time of life." But that's because they've never experienced it. If you experienced it, you wouldn't think that. You would know that just as in birth and death there is also beauty. You would know that the beauty is in the dignity of the individual, the courage of the heart, in the tremendous strength of human spirit that allows us to meet our end and to meet it without fear. Our patients do not die in fear. They may come to us frightened. They do not die in fear. We're a pretty well-designed mechanism, if you like, from the beginning to the end. We, in America, so frequently want to cut it short without knowing that that mechanism works all the way from the beginning to the end, but it does. And what you meet is just extraordinary. Here there's no pretense. Everything that counts in the outside world doesn't count here. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what you do for a living, you're not doing that anymore. It doesn't matter about anything other than being loved, and that probably matters most of all. And for our patients who don't have somebody to love them, that's our job, and we make sure that that's done. The transformations of individuals who are loved is a wonder. I recommend it to you. It is really something to see. We've had some rough, tough guys who were prisoners in their bulk of their life, who contracted diseases that cut their lives short, who have turned into pussycats when they came here. You wouldn't know them for who they were, but maybe they wouldn't have been who they were if they'd been loved a bit better. Who knows the answer to that? I don't know the answer to that. I do know that we have enjoyed them, and they have enjoyed their time with us. We had a professor who said this was the best time of her life. She probably, in a place where she no longer had to worry about what she was going to do next or what she'd done last week, finally learned who she was. And she taught to the very end. She went down to the University of Maryland and she taught the medical students, and she went to several hearings on end-of-life care, and she taught many, many people about her experience of dying. For her, it was life-giving. It was a great experience. She sat out here on the deck, and she had her breakfast out here on the deck and did her crossword puzzle every morning. It was a special ritual for her. And then she had weekend field trips from time to time out to the convent, though she wasn't religious in any way, to rest. Ruth Eager and I have worked hand in hand for the last 10 years. And Ruth has done an extraordinary job of making Richey what it is today. First and foremost, Ruth loves people. And she's brought that love of people to bear in how we deliver care to people. She's brought that to our nurses, to our nursing assistants, because the standard of care that we offer day in and day out is a love of people and the ability to touch them with kindness. And Ruth personifies that. She keeps in touch with patients on a daily basis. She handles on-call for our home care team and is known many nights of the week to go out to visit patients in their own home or to come down to the hospice if they have a special need. She's a 24/7 kind of boss, but she's a 24/7 kind of people person. And when she does that, she also has a pretty good measure of how people are doing their jobs. Different than somebody sitting behind a desk and saying go and you go and do and you do. Ruth is a person who does with her people, and they respond very well to that. We have probably the most extraordinary team of people who work together, and that begins at the top. It isn't a Harvard management model. It's a Ruth Eager management model that has to do with touching lives and offering comfort. And she, first and foremost, is the epitome of that. A person who can touch a life and offer comfort. And that makes a difference. That's not to say she's not a good business person. That's not to say that she doesn't do a good job of making sure we pay our bills, making sure that we get reimbursed for the services that we have. But we never turn away anybody because they can't pay. And I hope we never will.